products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
DBS News.
Oh, welcome back to the DBS Major Morning News. My name is Curtis Matthew. Here we go with our lead story. Minister for National Security Rayburn Blackmore wants nationals to become more acquainted with the laws of Dominica. He made reference to the Public Order Act following a truckers' protest action in Kenfield earlier this week.
There is no express provision in the parent law of this country, namely the Constitution, that gives anyone or any group of people the absolute right to stand on any public road and to create an obstruction or to block the road or to have any meeting, especially within a public space, that will cause obstruction to traffic flow without the express permission of the Commissioner of Police. And the notion that the Constitution provides carte blanche authority for people to demonstrate and to march and to hold meetings without first ensuring that they meet the requirement under the prescription of the law, namely Section 3 of the Public Order Act, that stipulates clearly that if you're planning to have a procession, which is a demonstration or a protest, whatever the case may be, that within 3 days of the set date which you intend to have that procession, you shall apply to the Chief of Police for permit. And if the Chief of Police, within his discretion, believe that he should grant that permission, he does that, and that is so to ensure that the public, other members of the public who do not have any interest in your meeting or your procession or your protest, they too have a right to traverse, to go to the market, to buy the medication, and to go to work. So the police has to come in to ensure that there is law and order within the public space so that your protest, that your march can proceed in a civilized manner. That is why the law is, because the public interest supersedes the interest of Rayburn Blackmore or anybody else or any group. And that is something that we have to appreciate.
And that's the Minister for National Security, Rayburn Blackmore. The cultural elder for 2024 will be searched at La Plaine tomorrow during Heritage Day. Meantime, several outstanding farmers and vendors will be recognized this morning as Portsmouth and Marigot stage Market Day with a difference.
On Saturday the 19th, we will observe Market Day with a difference in the north and northeast at Portsmouth and Marigot respectively. This is a cherished event for farmers and vendors to showcase their produce while interacting with consumers in a festive atmosphere. These celebrations will also feature cultural performances and an award ceremony for deserving farmers of the area. On Sunday, all roads lead to La Plaine, the southeastern community, with the celebration of Heritage Day. This grand celebration will begin with a church service at the La Plaine Catholic Church at 10 a.m., followed by a cultural gala at 3 p.m. at the Jones Bopier Primary School. Here we will also witness the session of this year's cultural elder by the President of Dominica, Her Excellency Sylvanie Burton. This event will culminate with entertainment by some of Dominica's top bands and artists. This is an event you don't want to miss, so I encourage all Dominicans to join us in La Plaine as we continue in making this year's anniversary of independence a memorable one.
And that's the minister responsible for culture, Greta Roberts, and talking about Market Day with a difference at Marigot and Portsmouth this morning. DBS Radio will bring you live coverage of the events this morning as Marigot and Portsmouth stage Market Day with a difference. The DBS teams will be at Marigot and Portsmouth this morning. Other news, the police have announced new traffic arrangements to accommodate next week's TV Lash Creole at Botanic Gardens from Monday to Thursday between the hours of 12 noon and 6 p.m. Here is Inspector at the Traffic Department, Simon Edwards.
The following traffic arrangements will come into effect from 11:30 a.m. each day until 6 p.m. There will be no through traffic on Valley Road from its intersection with Emsall Road to Bath Road. No through traffic onto Boys Avenue from Bath Road. There will be no through traffic in the Botanic Gardens except for local access for individuals working at offices within the Botanic Gardens. From 12:30 p.m. to 2 p.m. each day from October 21 to 24, 2024, motorists will be allowed to enter and exit the Botanic Gardens from Bath Road to facilitate the collection of school children. On each day for the duration of the event, motorists traveling to and from Bath Estate, Emsall and the Valley are to use the link road from the Bath Estate Bridge to the New East Bridge. No parking will be allowed on either side of Valley Road from its intersection with Bath Road to the Bath Estate Bridge. No parking between the main Botanic Gardens Road from the East Gate to the Southwestern Gate on Bath Road. No parking on the Link Road from the New Link Bridge to the Bath Estate Bridge. No parking on Bath Road between the intersection of Independence Street and Bath Road to the Monbrose Junction near the public cemetery.
And that's head of the Traffic Department, Simon Edwards. Well, Inspector Edwards also made reference to temporary bus stops.
The Mont Prosper Wharton Waven Loader bus stop will be temporarily relocated on Bath Road between Virgin Lane and King George V Street or opposite the Convent Preparatory School. From 4 p.m. to 7:30 p.m., motorists will be denied entry into Virgin Lane from Independence Street. Motorists traveling north along Bath Road will be diverted into Virgin Lane to facilitate the safe movement of pedestrians or people from the Botanic Gardens at the end of each day's activity. No vendors will be allowed to set up stalls on either side of Valley Road from its intersection with Bath Road to the Bath Estate Bridge. On Emsall Road, where it intersects with Valley Road to the entrance of the East Botanic Gardens Gate, and on Windsor Lane, that part of Boys Avenue, from Public Service Union Building to Valley Road. The appropriate traffic signs will be displayed for the guidance of motorists who are instructed to adhere strictly to the foregoing. Any inconvenience caused is deeply regretted.
And that's the head of the Traffic Department, Inspector Simon Edwards. Meantime, a block meeting planned by the police for Point Michel this evening. That block meeting has been postponed. Let's remind you that police block meeting planned for Point Michel this evening. That block meeting has been postponed. Other news this morning. Officials from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CAFA, will arrive in Dominica this weekend to conduct training in disease outbreak. Acting Chief Medical Officer for Dominica, Dr. Lenora Favre-Drago, says the CAFA intervention comes ahead of the World Creole Music Festival.
Sometime earlier this year, we would have been informed that there was the T20 World Cup Series, cricket series happening, and quite a few countries benefited from trainings done by CARFA. And as Chief Medical Officer, I reached out to CARFA and basically sold Dominica in that we may not have had cricket. However, we do have mass gatherings. Our carnival is expanding yearly, and our World Creole Festival started local, regionally, and now we're international. Everybody tries to make it to Dominica for our festival. And so they bought into that and have agreed to come to Dominica next week on the 21st and 22nd. We'll be doing an outbreak simulation exercise that's being held at the Fort Young Hotel from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. quite a few stakeholders have come on board, and I'm speaking fire and ambulance, police, the Office of Disaster Management. We have doctors, we have nurses, we have the A&E doctors at the hospital and the administration of the hospital. We also have the acute psychiatric unit. So we have quite a few persons, all the key stakeholders who will be in the case of an outbreak, they would be the ones that we would call upon. And so we saw it fit that before people started descending at the stadium, that we prepare ourselves, again, like I said, that we don't want to be caught with our pants down, and we want to ensure that everything that we do it well, and that we preempt anything that may arise.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lenora Fevrier-Drago. Dr. Drago says a simulation exercise on disease outbreak will be held on October 22 as part of the CAFA training.
On day 2, which is Tuesday, October 22nd, we do have a simulation exercise. A simulation exercise is one that the participants don't know what it is that we're going to be simulating. So when we get there and we're set into groups, then we get inserts. On day 1, someone had a flu, went to the emergency room. By the 3rd day, XYZ happened. So it happens like that in sequence, and it's literally a full day event where all the stakeholders will be present and participating in that. Because what we're testing is our preparedness for disease outbreak. We do it throughout the hurricane season, for tsunami, for hurricane, for volcano, for tropical storms. Right now, we're doing it for disease.
And that's the Acting Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Lenora Fevrier-Drago. Dr. Drago says patrons of the World Creole Music Festival should be aware of the presence of COVID-19.
COVID-19 is very much alive and present. The numbers are not high. However, from time to time, we do see spikes. So during the summer, when we had the different fetting activities, we saw some spikes. So it is incumbent on us as a ministry, like I said, to be vigilant, that we continue to train and look out for the signs and symptoms. And our health promotion unit has been out there educating and reminding people that mass gatherings are fun. Please do enjoy the season. Have all the fun that you can. But be aware that after the fun is over, there's a life to be lived, and it costs us a lot of money to treat. So prevention is better than care. If you have the flu, you treat yourself, you go see the doctor, you ensure that you don't have something that's a communicable disease that you can spread throughout the community. And like I said, enjoy yourself, but be safe for a while too.
Acting Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lenora Fevrier-Drago. The Dominica Geothermal Development Company has signed a contract for $103 million with an Indian company for the construction of a transmission network. The transmission network, a key component of the geothermal project, is from Loda to Domlek facility at Fokole. Minister for Energy, Dr. Vince Henderson, told the signing ceremony yesterday with Kalpa Taru Projects International of Latin America that this is an exciting stage of the project.
The development of a resilient transmission system comprising of transmission lines and substations. In this case, for 10.7 kilometers, ensuring that we can connect hydropower, geothermal power to the center of control of Domlek at Fokole is critical to our development. Energy is the foundation, the basis of all development. Today, as we move into more of a digital age, it is even more critical, well, it is critical that we have reliable sources of energy. And in the case of Dominica, we have committed ourselves to building resilience to ensure that if we are ever hit by a major hydrometeorological event, a serious hurricane or storm, that we can withstand the heat or we can recover very quickly. So this ceremony here this morning, which essentially is the mobilization ceremony for the transmission system, is critical to our development. As we continue to develop with the construction of new infrastructure, especially accommodation facilities hotels, restaurants throughout the country for the development of the tourism sector, the construction of an international airport will require a significant amount of power.
And that's the Energy Minister, Dr. Vince Henderson. Meantime, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit said it was unfortunate Dominica was forced to access the loan of $103 million from the World Bank for construction of the transmission network.
I believe that, and our friends from the World Bank are here, and I'm not necessarily speaking to them because they're public officers. I am speaking to the largest shareholders and directors of the World Bank who form the G7 in particular. There is no reason why a country like Dominica should have had to borrow money from the World Bank to build this transmission line or to invest in geothermal. If we're serious about the planet, if we're serious about agreements that we sign as countries where climate change is concerned and the action that we have to take, if we're serious about this conference of the parties, and if we're serious about the agreement in Copenhagen about 18 years ago, if we're serious about the Paris Agreement that we signed in 2015, 2013, thereabout, then we have to own it. We have to put the monies where we need. And when you look at geothermal ticked all of the boxes when you're talking about response to climate change, adaptation, resilience building, reducing the carbon footprint, all of the boxes. But yet still we find ourselves increasing our national debt by $38.5 million when it really should be a grant coming out of the Copenhagen Agreement, coming out of the Paris Agreement, and all of the pledges that have been made. And so this is why you find many countries in the Caribbean would like to go to the route of renewable energy. But the moment they start talking about tens of millions to just do the investigation, as we have done here, they shy away.
And that's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. A little after 7:30 this morning, Melia Joseph Dennis will determine which is the most impactful insert on the news. She has a few of them to look at. She will decide which one is the most impactful, and she will bring that to you after the news. Let's head into news from the region now. Cuba is experiencing a nationwide blackout after its main energy plant failed, knocking out power to its 10 million people. Its power grid collapsed at around 11 o'clock on Friday. Grid officials said they did not know how long it would take to restore power to Cuba. The island has suffered months of lengthy blackouts, prompting the leader to declare an energy emergency on Thursday. Well, Friday's total blackout came after the Antonio Guterres power plant in Matanza, the largest on the island, went offline. President Miguel Diaz-Bermudez said the situation was his absolute priority. Finally, this morning, Donald Trump has called a judge the most evil person as she released more than 1,800 pages of evidence in special counsel Jack Smith's election conspiracy case against him. The Republican White House candidate said U.S. District Court Judge Tanya Chutkan's rejection of his request to delay releasing the new evidence until after next month's vote amounted to election interference. Legal analysts in the U.S. have debated whether filings of the case breach a Justice Department internal rule that prosecutors avoid any investigative step that might affect an election within 60 days of voting. But in her own ruling, the judge argued that if she kept the files under wraps, that in itself could have been construed as election interference. It is 19 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's remind you, at Marigot and Portsmouth this morning, the DBS teams will be broadcasting the Market Day with a Difference. You don't want to miss that on DBS this morning. Our teams are already in Marigot and in Portsmouth. We'll bring you Market Day with a Difference a little after 8 o'clock this morning. Well, that's news. The sports report comes up shortly.
Rudolph Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, Portland and tile cement, steel rods, galvanized and fence pipe. And Rudolph Thomas can meet all your wire needs. Galvanized roofing sheets, doors, windows, toilet sets, face basins, and bidets. PVC piping, fittings, and lattice. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. And Rudolph Thomas is your one-stop shop for hard-to-find items like fiberglass mat and fiberglass resin and welding rods. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
One easy loan.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
To upgrade my phone and even my home with one simple loan.
More money.
To have your wedding, to go traveling, to do anything.
More money.
No security. Speed delivery, just check NBT. Apply anytime. In branch online, it's more money time.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
No collateral.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Speedy delivery.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Just check NBT.
More money with NBT, it's more money.
Covering the nation and beyond. DBS Sports Report.
Let's begin the DBS Morning Sports Report with track and field news. The Dominica Grammar School remained on course to retain their independent secondary schools athletics championships as they took Day 1 honors Friday at Benjamin's Park in Portsmouth. At the end of the opening day of competition, the Dominica Grammar School has the overall lead by 30 points over the Portsmouth Secondary School thanks to a strong performance from the Dominica Grammar School girls. Taking a look at the standings after the opening day Friday, the Portsmouth Secondary School boys are leading with 97 points, Dominica Grammar School 93, Isaiah Thomas Secondary School 68, the Cassibro Secondary School 60, and the Northeast Comprehensive 59 round up the top 5 schools. Meantime, the Dominica State College has 29 points, St. Mary's Academy 13, Goodwill Secondary School 12, and the Pierre Charles Secondary School with 5 points. The Dominica Grammar School girls has a commanding lead over the Portsmouth Secondary School. The Dominica Grammar School top with 103 points, Portsmouth Secondary School 76, Isaiah Thomas Secondary School 53, Pierre Charles Secondary School 38, Northeast Comprehensive 34, St. Martin Secondary School 24.5 points, Cassibros Secondary School 23, Wesley High School 21.5, and the Dominica State College 19 points. The Goodwill Secondary School has 8 and the Convent High School 5 points. In the overall top standings, the Dominica Grammar School has a total of 203 points, Portsmouth Secondary School 173, Isaiah Thomas Secondary School 131, Northeast Comprehensive 93, and Cassibro Secondary School 83. The independent secondary schools meet will continue on Tuesday. Let's bring you some football news now. Valvoline United will be looking once again to narrow the points gap on the league leaders, Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC, as the DFA Premier League continues today. We United are currently second in the points table on 28 points, 3 points behind Dubla, who also have a game in hand. We United will be gunning for all 3 points tonight when they take on the relegation-threatened Laura Dorset Bathurst FC. Bathurst are sitting in last place with 11 points with just 3 games remaining in their second, while they are trailing Petro Caribe Point Michel, who sit in 9th on 12 points. Bathurst will meet We United at 6:30 this evening, while at 4 o'clock it's the Bathurst Maho Soccer Strikers taking on the former champion Sagiko Southeast. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers will battle Promex Harlem United at 4 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock, it's the league leaders Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC taking on third place Tranquility Beach Middleham United. The player draft for the 6th edition of the Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 tournament will take place this morning. The event will take place at Windsor Park from 10 o'clock. The 6th edition of the Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 tournament will bowl off on the 7th of December at Windsor Park. Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 coordinator Liam Sebastian.
On Saturday, the draft for the tournament in December will be held, where the 16s will fill out their roster. Earlier, the teams will have retained some players as well as their pre-selected overseas, so the balance of the roster will be filled up at the draft, which starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow at the Stadium Conference Room. Additionally, we will also reveal, well, before the draft commences, we will reveal the fixtures for the new tournament as well as the uniforms that the team will don for this competition. So it's not expected to be a long process. Is just to fill out the remaining rounds of the draft, where the players will be selected, and then from there we get into the other logistics of getting all this stuff ready for the competition.
And that's the Dream 11 Nature Isle T10 coordinator, Liam Sebastian. Just want to go back to some sports news, in fact, some football news. Let's look at some schedule of matches to come this weekend. Well, Bathurst State will meet We United at 6:30 this evening. That's Bathurst State meeting We United at 6:30 this evening. While at 4 o'clock, it's Belfast State Mahosoka Strikers taking on the former champs Sagiko Southeast. On Sunday, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers will battle Promex Harlem United at 4 o'clock. And at 6 o'clock, it's the league leaders Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC taking on the third place Tranquility Beach Middleham United. I want to just run through these fixtures for you again in football, of course, in the Premier League. It's Bathurst State to meet We United at 6:30 this evening. It's Bathurst State playing We United at 6:30 this evening. At 4 o'clock, it's the Belfast State Mahosoka Strikers taking on the former champs Sagiko Southeast. On Sunday, the Roosevelt Skerrit Bombers will battle Promex Harlem United at 4. And at 6 o'clock, it's the league leaders Central Cooperative Credit Union Dubla FC taking on the third place Tranquility Beach Middleham United. Let's bring you some more sports this morning. Deandra Dottin put in an excellent effort with bat and ball, but her efforts were not enough as the West Indies came up short in their bid to advance to the finals of the ICC Women's World Cup. The West Indies went down in the semi-final to New Zealand on Friday. New Zealand won the toss and opted to bat first. They were restricted to 128 for 9 in their 20 overs. Playmer led the way with 33 for New Zealand. Deandra Dottin picked up 4 for 22 in her 4 overs. Afi Fletcher had 2 for 33, and Karishma Ramharak 1 for 11, and Aliyah Aline 1 for 31. The West Indies, chasing 129 to win, lost wickets at regular interval and came up just short in their run chase. The West Indies got 120 for 8. In their 20 overs, Deandra Dottin made 33, Afi Fletcher had 17 not out, Zeta James had 14, Carson took 3 for 29, and Kerr 2 for 14. New Zealand won the match by 8 runs. Here now is the West Indies captain, Hayley Matthews.
We bowled really well up front, and we did have them within a really good run rate while we were playing. Probably just got away a bit at the end, but I think we can't blame it on the bowlers here. At the beginning of the day, I think we would have taken 127, no doubt. And yeah, I think with the bat, we probably just weren't able to get going very early on, and that put us under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, you mentioned that total, obviously, with ball in hand, managing to restrict New Zealand. What was the chat at the halfway point in terms of how you might go about chasing that down?
Yeah, well, we actually felt based on the wicket, they were probably a few runs short, and we just wanted to stay really positive. Same thing with Kiana Joseph up at the top of the order, but yeah, like I said, we just really never got it going.
Obviously, you lost early wickets in that run chase, but all the time, obviously, yourself was there. When you went, DeAndre Dottin was there. It still felt like you could have done it, even at the back end there. So I'm guessing the belief in the dugout would have still been positive and thinking that you could have done it even in the last couple of overs.
Yeah, I felt like it never really got out of our hands. They're super out of control. A few boundaries, and the game was able to change, and I think that showed when DeAndre smacked a few over mid-wicket. Unfortunately, she got out after them, but look, kudos to her. She's had a great game as well, firstly with the ball and then really making sure that we had a chance with the bat too.
As a captain, I know you'd be disappointed, but there must be things that you're really proud of about this team, obviously, to get you to this spot. And the cricket that you've played, you must be proud in many ways of this team.
Yeah, I think it is disappointing for the entire group to go to this stage and the way we did, but look, I'm incredibly proud of everyone within the team. We saw players that probably haven't been on the circuit very much show up in this World Cup, and I think as a group we've come together and really exceeded expectations. So disappointing that we are going home now, but I think we came here with expectations of not making it very far from the outside, and we were able to prove a lot of people wrong.
And that's the West Indies women's captain, Hayley Matthews. New Zealand will meet South Africa in the finals on Sunday. Finally, Cricket West Indies President Dr. Keisha Shallow says that the Cricket West Indies will stage a T20 regional tournament in May 2025 to determine which Caribbean island will represent the West Indies at the 2028 Summer Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Cricket is set to form part of the 2028 Olympic Games for the very first time. Dr. Shallow says the tournament, which will be sponsored by CPL, will not be open to every island in the region.
But what we are arriving at is the fact that there would not be every island in the Caribbean signing a cricket team would participate. That's for sure. Right? But we still have to finalize how many teams. We still have to finalize as well the format. I think that may be a consideration at this meeting coming up for ICC. Also, what format is it going to be? T20? Is it going to be T10? I think someone's saying that it is more likely to be T20 because of the fact that ICC doesn't have a T10 format, right? So it is likely to be T20. We are putting things in place to have our own Caribbean T20 league, which is a domestic T20 league, which you won't see. It is really for emerging players, but you would have some senior guys there as well. This is a tournament that we are going to use to, identify new talents. And this is a thing scheduled for around May next year is when we're hoping to host this tournament. So this may very well be the tournament to use. The tournament is being sponsored by CPL.
And that's Cricket West Indies President, Dr. Keisha Shallow. That too is a look at the DBS Morning News, and sports will bring you another newscast at 1:15. Coming up very soon, the insert of the package. Melia Joseph Dennis has a very important decision to make. She has to select the best insert of the morning news. Curtis Matthew saying good morning.
It is 26 minutes moving up to the hour of 8 o'clock, and insert of the package is brought to you compliments A&A Low Price Center And of course, the incident that I have chosen comes from the most latter story in our sports cast, coming from, of course, the president of Cricket West Indies, Dr. Kishore Sharlo, as he speaks of the possibility of cricket being played at the 2028 World Cup. What great news it is for cricket. And that is my insert of the package.
But what we are arriving at is the fact that there would not be every island in the Caribbean, signing a cricket team would participate. Not for sure, right? But we still have to finalize how many teams. We still have to finalize as well the format. I think that may be a consideration at this meeting coming up for ICC. Also, what format is it going to be? T20? Is it going to be T10? I think someone's saying that it is more likely to be T20 because of the fact that ICC doesn't have a T10 format, right? So it is likely to be T20. We are putting things in place to have our own Caribbean T20 league, which is a domestic T20 league, which you won't see. It is really for emerging players, but you would have some senior guys there as well. This is a tournament that we are going to use to identify new talents. And this is a thing scheduled for around May next year is when we're hoping to host this tournament. So this may very well be the tournament to use. The tournament is being sponsored by CPL.
And of course, that was insert of the package. Brought to you compliments A&A Low Price Center.
A&A Low Price Center in the village of Calabishi offers the best prices for the freshest products ever. One-stop convenient shopping at A&A Low Price Center in Calabishi. For your foods, your everyday needs, snacks, liquor, dry goods, and more. Just about everything located in the flat of Calabishi, directly in the center of the village. Come to A&A Low Price Center on the highway in Calabishi. A&A Low Price Center is family owned and operated. It is fully computerized, VAT compliant, low toll, credit card and top-up capabilities. Stop at A&A Low Price Center in Calabishi today or call 445-7655. Drop us an email at aanalowprice@gmail.com. A&A Low Price Center in Calabishi open 7 days a week, 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Visit us today. Just walk in and be happy you did.
It is 23 minutes moving up to the 8 o'clock hour. It's now time to bring you this morning's weather report, brought to you compliments Big Edge Financial.
You've got the edge over your circumstances. Many times there'll be trials to face, at least when it comes to your waning finances. You've got the edge, help is coming your way. You've got Big Edge for those days when you're running low. Big Edge is the place to go. Big Edge, the cash can be in your hand with the easiest payment plan. Cash in a flash.
And at this note, we say good morning to Dean Charles.
Good morning. This is your weather update from the Dominica Meteorological Service at the Douglas Charles Airport for the 19th of October 2024, recorded at 7 a.m. Today's weather is expected to be partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. The conditions at Douglas Charles Airport this morning were fair. The surface winds came from the east-southeast at 5 knots or 9 kilometers an hour, and the temperature was 29 degrees Celsius or 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Yesterday's rainfall at Douglas Charles was 2.7 millimeters, and the monthly rainfall so far has been 51.2 millimeters. Sunset today is at 5:42 p.m. and sunrise tomorrow at 5:58 a.m. High tide today at 4:13 p.m. and the next low tides at 10:01 a.m. and 11:22 p.m. And now the weather outlook for Dominica and the Lesser Antilles. Moisture and instability associated with a trough system are expected to affect the area over the next 24 hours. Partly cloudy to cloudy skies with scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms are anticipated. Breezy conditions are also expected. Slight to moderate seas with swells near 7 feet are expected during the next 24 hours. And now the weather forecast for today and tonight. The synopsis: weak unstable conditions are affecting the area. The forecast for today and tonight is partly cloudy to cloudy and breezy with some scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms. The winds are expected to come from the east-northeast to east-southeast at 15 to 35 kilometers an hour with higher gusts. Sea conditions expected slight to moderate in open water with waves from 1 to 2 meters or 3 to 7 feet. There are no warnings at this time. We are presently in the Atlantic hurricane season. For more information about weather conditions, visit our website at www.weather.gov.dm or call us at 266-4490. For further information, like our Facebook page at Dominica Meteorological Service, follow us on Instagram at Dominica Met, and also on our WhatsApp channel at 618-3469. Reporting from the Douglas Charles Airport, I am Dane Charles.
Thank you so much, Dane Charles, for this morning's weather report. Brought to you compliments Flow.
Here's a fun fact. In just 29 seconds, you can say goodbye to paper bills forever. Seriously, in 29 seconds. That's less time than this ad. Head over to discoverflow.co or visit us in-store and update your contact information now. By October 1st, your bills will be digital, easy to access, secure, and hassle-free. So what are you waiting for? This ad still has 2 seconds left, and you could have already gone paperless.
The time now, it is 19 minutes, moving up to 8 o'clock. It's now time to bring you the Community Bulletin Board, which is brought to you this morning. Compliments our good folks at Valley Engineering, Sales and Services.
Stretch your dollar at Valley Engineering. At Valley Engineering, our customers enjoy our dollar stretching price policy. Save money. Valley dollar stretch prices apply to a wide range of parts, which include water pumps, shock absorbers, steering and suspension parts, clutches, pressure plates, filters, oh yes, oil, gas, and air filters, NGK plugs, ball and roller bearings for wheels and transmission, timing and fan belts, engine gaskets, mechanics tools, brake parts, wiper blades, mud guards, grills, batteries, lubricants, starter and alternator parts, bulbs, head and park lamp, and many, many more items. These dollar stretch prices at Valley Engineering will not shock you. They will only surprise you. Why not visit us today on Goodwill Road or at our relocated Portsmouth outlet on Bay Street? So cut costs and save with Valley Engineering's dollar stretching.
The public is informed that road closure for blasting operations at the terminal area at the western part of Wesley on Sunday 20th October between the hours of 3:30 and 5:30 p.m. Also on Monday 21st October between the hours of 3:30 to 5:30 p.m. The Dominica Essential Oils and Spices Cooperative Society Limited, in collaboration with the Rotary Club of Dominica, will hold an educational meeting to facilitate the restoration of the Bay Oil distilleries with all members and producers of Bay Oil from Stowe Estate, Bagatelle, Font-Saint-Jean, and the Petite Savanne area on Tuesday 22nd October at the Bagatelle Primary School from 4 p.m. Transportation arrangement will be made available for members of Petite Savanne who reside at Bellevue Chopin. Mr. Brinton Barron and Mr. Richard Barron will transport members from Bellevue Chopin and Stowe Estate. Please be guided accordingly. Domlec wishes to inform its customers in Taro, Layu Valley, Hillsborough, Clark Hall, St. Joseph, Castaways, Mayro, Macushri, Salisbury, Grand Savan, Batali, and Monrachet that their electricity supply will be interrupted on Wednesday, 23rd October 2024 between the hours of 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. This interruption is necessary to allow Domlec to undertake urgent maintenance on the high voltage transmission network at Taru to Batali. Additional information is available on their website at www.domlec.dm under Schedule Outages. Domlec appreciates your understanding in this matter and regrets any inconvenience caused. Domlec wishes to inform its customers in Long Lane, Damien Junior Charles Boulevard from Hillsborough Street to Cock Street,